Only 3 women in Oscars history have won Best Director. The Woman King and Till, both directed by women of color, were not nominated in 2023. Director Greta Gerwig was snubbed in 2024 Little Women and again for Barbie in 2024. In the 96-year history of the Academy Awards, only 8 women have ever been nominated for Best Director, and only 3 have won. This year, director Justine Triet was nominated for Anatomy of a Fall, but many were angered that Greta Gerwig was not nominated for Barbie, which got a Best Picture nod. Here are 24 times the Oscars snubbed female directors. 1. Lena Wertmuller. In 1977, 48 years after the Oscars began, Lena Wertmuller became the first woman to be nominated for Best Director, but she was not chosen as the winner. Wertmuller directed Seven Beauties. The film was also nominated for Best Foreign Language Film, Best Screenplay and Best Actor for Giancarlo Giannini, although it did not win in any category. It would be almost 20 years before another woman was nominated for Best Director, Jane Campion for The Piano, at the 1994 awards. 2. Randa Haynes. Randa Haynes directed Children of a Lesser God in 1986. It was nominated for 5 Oscars including Best Picture but not Best Director. Children of a Lesser God was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Supporting Actress, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Picture. Marlee Matlin won the Best Supporting Actress award at age 21, making her the youngest and first deaf person to win an Academy Award, Good Morning America reported. Haynes' role as director, however, was ignored. 3. Barbra Streisand. Barbra Streisand told Variety that sexism had prevented her films from winning Oscars over the years, saying, "They don't want to see a woman director." Streisand made her directorial debut with Yentl in 1983. It was nominated for 5 Oscars and won 2, but she was snubbed for Best Director. She did, however, become the first woman to win a Golden Globe for Best Director. She remained the only female winner until Chloe Zhao won in 2021 and Jane Campion in 2022. Streisand told Variety it took her years to want to direct again after the snub. In 1991 she directed The Prince of Tides, which garnered 7 Oscar nominations including Best Picture. Yet again, Streisand's work as a director was not nominated for an award. 4. Penny Marshall. Awakenings received 3 Oscar nominations in 1991, but director Penny Marshall was not one of them. The film was released in December 1990 to critical acclaim. Roger Ebert wrote that Marshall directed the movie with intelligence and heart. It was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Picture, and Robert De Niro was nominated for Best Actor. Marshall's work as director was not recognized by the Academy. 5. Jane Campion. Jane Campion directed The Piano in 1993 and was nominated for Best Director, but she didn't win. The Piano was nominated for 8 Oscars and won 3, Best Screenplay, Best Supporting Actress for Anna Paquin, and Best Actress for Holly Hunter. 6. Sofia Coppola. Sofia Coppola won the Oscar for Best Screenplay for Lost in Translation, but she lost Best Director to Peter Jackson. In addition to Best Screenplay and Best Director, Lost in Translation was nominated for Best Picture, and Bill Murray for Best Actor. 7. Valerie Faris. Valerie Faris and her husband, Jonathan Dayton, made their directorial debut with the critically acclaimed Little Miss Sunshine in 2006, but they weren't nominated for Best Director. Little Miss Sunshine won 2 Oscars, Best Original Screenplay and Alan Arkin for Best Supporting Actor. Abigail Breslin also made history with her nomination for Best Supporting Actress at 10 years old, making her one of the youngest actors ever to be nominated for an Academy Award. However, directors Faris and Dayton weren't nominated. 8. Lisa Kolodenko. The Kids Are All Right was nominated for 4 Oscars in 2011, but they didn't include a Best Director nod for Lisa Kolodenko. The Kids Are All Right was nominated for Best Original Screenplay, Best Picture, Best Actress for Annette Bening and Best Supporting Actor for Mark Ruffalo. The film's other star Julianne Moore was also snubbed. Yet there were no women in the directing category, producer Celine Rattray told Today at the Time. "It's interesting because I think the Academy often rewards flashy directing styles like Danny Boyle in 127 Hours. 9. Deborah Granick. That same year, Deborah Granick's directing work on Winter's Bone was also overlooked by the Academy. Winter's Bone starred Jennifer Lawrence and John Hawkes, both of whom received nominations. It was also nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Picture. 10. Kathryn Bigelow. Kathryn Bigelow became the first woman to ever win Best Director for The Hurt Locker in 2010, but she was snubbed in 2013 after she directed Zero Dark 30. Just 3 years after her historic Best Director win for The Hurt Locker, Bigelow wasn't nominated for Zero Dark 30, even though the film received 5 Oscar nominations including Best Picture. 11. Ava DuVernay. Ava DuVernay could have been the first black woman nominated for Best Director for Selma in 2015, but the Academy didn't include her. Selma was nominated for Best Picture and won the Oscar for Best Original Song, but DuVernay told Entertainment Weekly in 2015 that she wasn't surprised by the directing snub. "It would be lovely," she said, "when it happens to whomever it happens to, it will certainly have meaning. This is not me being humble either, it's math." Years later, Selma actor David Oyelowo also spoke about the Academy's response to the film. 12. Patty Jenkins. The critically acclaimed Wonder Woman, directed by Patty Jenkins, was not nominated for a single Oscar. Superhero movies don't usually win Oscars, but there have been exceptions such as Black Panther, 3 Oscars, and The Dark Knight, 2 Oscars. Variety reported that Wonder Woman was considered a critically acclaimed contender in 2017, but it was not recognized by the Academy. The following year, Jenkins spoke to Vulture after other female directors were snubbed. "The Academy is working on this, but the real issue to me is that at the end of the day, no matter what movie you make and no matter how much money it makes and no matter how diverse the audience is, the voting Academy is still very, very limited." Still, she said. 13. Kasi Lemons. Harriet was nominated for 2 Oscars in 2020, but director Kasi Lemons didn't receive one. Cynthia Erivo was nominated for Best Actress for her portrayal of Harriet Tubman, and the song, Stand Up, was nominated for Best Original Song. That year, Natalie Portman wore a black Dior cape embroidered with the names of female directors whose work had been snubbed by the Academy, with Lemon's name among them. "I wanted to recognize the women who were not recognized for their incredible work this year in my subtle way," Portman told the Los Angeles Times. 14. Melina Matsoukas. Queen and Slim, directed by Melina Matsoukas, was not nominated for any Academy Awards in 2020. The Directors Guild of America nominated Matsoukas for Outstanding Directorial Achievement in First-Time Feature Film. But at the 2020 Oscars, the Best Director category was all male, prompting Issa Rae to introduce the nominees by saying, "Congratulations to those men." 15. Greta Gerwig. In 2020, Greta Gerwig was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay for Little Women, but not for Best Director. Little Women received 7 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture, Best Actress, and Best Supporting Actress, and 1 for Best Costume Design. Many believe that Gerwig was robbed. To nominate Greta for Best Picture and Best Screenplay and Best Actresses but not Best Director just truly speaks to the way we don't view women as auteurs, no matter how much they clearly are, Decider's senior film reporter Anna Menta wrote on X. 16. Marielle Heller. Marielle Heller wasn't nominated for Best Director for her film A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, or for Can You Ever Forgive Me? Tom Hanks received an Oscar nod for Best Actor for his portrayal of Mr. Rogers in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood in 2020, but Heller's directing work did not receive a nomination. It was the second snub in a row for Heller. The year prior, her movie, Can You Ever Forgive Me, earned Melissa McCarthy and Richard E. Grant Golden Globe and Oscar nominations, but Heller was not nominated. "This was an incredible year for women filmmakers," Heller said in 2019. W Magazine reported, "A lot of us made really worthy movies." She added, "But that was our undoing. There were too many of us, and the world doesn't know how to handle more than one good female director at a time." 17. Lulu Wang. The Farewell, directed by Lulu Wang, was not nominated for any Oscars, despite rave reviews. While the film was snubbed at the Oscars, The Farewell was nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Picture, and Awkwafina won the award for Best Actress. 18. Alma Har'el won the First-Time Feature Film Award from the Directors Guild of America for Honey Boy in 2020, but she wasn't nominated for any Oscars. Honey Boy garnered Oscar buzz and critical acclaim, but ultimately was not nominated for any Academy Awards. 19. Gina Prince-Bythewood. The Woman King, directed by Gina Prince-Bythewood, did not receive any nominations for the 2023 Academy Awards. Despite rave reviews and box office success, The Woman King, starring Viola Davis, was not nominated for any Oscars. The Woman King wasn't snubbed, she wrote. A snub is if it missed out on a category or two. The film was not nominated for one single craft. Not one single extraordinary performance was recognized. And when has that happened for a successful film that hit all the so-called markers? It's not a snub, it's a reflection of where the Academy stands and the consistent chasm between black excellence and recognition. And, sadly, this is not just an issue in Hollywood but in every industry. 20. Chinonye Chukwu. The 2022 film, Till, directed by Chinonye Chukwu, also did not receive any Oscar nominations. Chukwu appeared to allude to being shut out of the Oscars in an Instagram post on the day that the nominations were announced. "We live in a world and work in industries that are so aggressively committed to upholding whiteness and perpetuating an unabashed misogyny towards black women," she wrote. "And yet, I am forever in gratitude for the greatest lesson of my life. Regardless of any challenges or obstacles, I will always have the power to cultivate my own joy, and it is this joy that will continue to be one of my greatest forms of resistance." 21. Sarah Polley. Women Talking was nominated for Best Picture and Best Adapted Screenplay, but director Sarah Polley was not nominated for Best Director. Polley told Vogue that while she was happy that Women Talking received 2 nominations, the lack of acknowledgement of black female directors was a hard thing to swallow. I'm thrilled for our team and so proud, but that has to live alongside the fact that some of the best films of the year were made by black female filmmakers and they weren't honored, she said. Polley also mentioned the lack of representation for female directors on the red carpet of the Golden Globes in an interview with IndieWire. 22. Charlotte Wells. Paul Mescal was nominated for Best Actor for After Sun, but the film's director, Charlotte Wells, was not nominated. After Sun marked Wells' first time directing and writing a feature film. Paul Mescal plays Callum, a father navigating parenthood and depression as he takes his daughter Sophie, Frankie Corio, on vacation to Turkey. It's very much fiction, but rooted in experience and memory, Wells told another magazine. It's personal in that the feeling is mine and I allowed my own memories and anecdotes through all of childhood to form the kind of skeleton outline that I worked from to write the first draft. But after that point it did become very much about the story I was trying to tell, and that frequently required pushing it away from my own experience. 23. Maria Schrader. Maria Schrader's 2022 film adaptation of She Said, chronicling the New York Times investigation into Harvey Weinstein, did not receive any Oscar nominations. I hope the movie inspires people and fuels the conversation that has been going on for quite some time now, Schrader told Shondaland. Something started after this article went public. This is probably not going to stop. 24. Greta Gerwig. Gerwig was snubbed again in 2024 when she was not nominated for Best Director for Barbie. Despite the film receiving 8 Academy Award nominations, Gerwig's work as director was not nominated. Neither was Margot Robbie's leading performance. In an interview for Time's 2024 Women of the Year, Gerwig said that she still considered herself nominated because Barbie was up for Best Picture.